Hello and welcome. Welcome to another stream. Today we're going to be working on a little bit more of a continuation of the last couple streams. We're going to look some more at some of the circles that I made and continue to develop a little bit more off of that. And then, depending on how I feel, I might look at some signs in my player museum. But we're doing work in my Valheim Battlers tower defense game that I've been building within the Valheim game using World Edit Command and whatnot mod. So, anyhow, don't have a lot going on. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being with me, whether you're here with me live or catching up later in the VOD. I know everyone has got a lot of stuff going on. Let's see here. Pull up my list. Alright. Bork. That's really just what it is I want to play with some circles and I want to play with signs. So let's go somewhere else. Go to the mini boss arena. Oops. Oh, well, at least I can get through here. All right. Let's look at what we have from yesterday. All right. Did that go all the way around me? Or was that just on one side? I think it's just on one side. Oh. Okay, so I mean, it's pretty close. But we're going to distill this back down to what the real goal was. The real goal was a 3-meter circle. And I ended up with, like, whatever that was. So we're gonna actually cut this down. Delete all of this. Get rid of it all. So this is the totem. And then this is the effect. Let's get rid of all of this. Really wasn't that much. And then this is the damage. So I'm actually going to label these now as well. I'm up here, and this is spawn totem. And this is spawn center totem. This is how I start to, like, figure out what I'm going to start naming stuff. Excuse me. This is on FX. This is damage. Okay. And that's something completely different, which I can actually probably just get rid of altogether. Alright. Now, we can just see what I did. Yeah. We're back to that. Oh, okay. The 3, okay. 4, okay, so it's 4. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go and we're going to get rid of all of these. So that it's just the one. And I'll save that. Okay. And now let's make it into a circle. Excuse me. We're going to turn this into a circle by coming up here, taking this, and how many do I want it to be? I think last time I did 10 degrees, and it looked okay. But it was, that was only one corner. If I do 360, it's gonna be 36. If I do it by 10, it'll be 36. 20 will be 18. Let's go for broken. Let's do the big. Just to see what that looks like. Why not? So I'm gonna continue to paste these. Like I still have to put a lot of these in here. Rotation 0. Rotation 10. 20. 30. 40. 70. 80. Use my right hand and the keypad. Roll down. So on 10. Ooh, that's gonna be a lot more than I think it is, isn't it? Just a lot of work. 120. Oop. More in. Ninety 100. All right. 140. 50. 60. Okay. Left pinky on the 1 key. Your finger on the 9 key. Totally doable. 200 is oops. I'm gonna be sad. This is the wrong column. 250. I'm almost done. do this and then hit it. 40, 40. I don't have to do 360. The extra did I make? The way this should work is or saved it. I did. The way this works is it should make a circle around me. Just like that. So, pretty happy with that. That's pretty good. And then, like, if I want this to do... I'm not going to customize it. I need to remember that this isn't about customization. This is just about getting it implemented. So that's a save right there for me. That's a 3-meter... That's a 3-meter circle. I can show you here. If I push repeat, let's do repeat 10 with a repeat interval of 1. Instead of it just causing damage when I walk, or when it expires, it'll cause damage to me the whole time it's out. Well, I saved it. Might be a create thing. So I'll put max distance on 20 so I don't have to move. Yeah, there it goes. Again, this is a template, so I don't have to worry about customizing it. But now, for the time that the effects are out, any player within range is gonna take damage. All right. Now that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. If I was gonna have it do picking damage, I would just attach it. I would actually attach the damage to the creation of like the initial totem, but because we got so many totems, I guess that's not really possible. I guess that is a trade-off for this system. Now this is a really dense circle, but like if I need to adjust it, I can. But what the other cool thing that I can do, like I said, this is supposed to be a 3-meter circle, but I might rename it. This might just be my circle, my all-at-once circle. Show you what I mean by. Let's put our further out rings back in. So this is 6. Actually, I like having chance in here as well. Do that. That'll be 1. 6. Oh. Alright, so now it won't be just one ring around me, it should be, whatever, 4 rings, however that math works out to be. I mean, it's a lot of damage, and it's clearly causing my computer to chunk, because it was however many rings, however many points, causing damage. So, like, that's one of the things that I have to keep in mind, is to not do that, because, like, it'll look like that for me, but I don't think it looks like that for the clients. A lot of totems there. Alright, good. So what the other things that I can do with this, I know I said I'm not gonna customize this. But what I can do is I can come in here and I can do this. I can control F this and replace it with a thing. I don't know, you can't see this, but 0, 2, 5. So I added random F, so that's random float. It's essentially got a delay of any number between 1 and 5 now. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for chance. Kinda. Chance is a little different because it's already its own thing. Let's do 0.25. A lot of these now have random Fs, but that's fine. This is going to look a little bit weirder than maybe I think it is, but let's see. There they go. So it's not really a circle, right? It's not like a discernible circle or discernible rings, but it's random spots on the ground that players will have to avoid, right? Well, you can kind of tell it's a circle from above. But yeah, that's some stuff that I can do with that too. But again, it's not for customizing. Cool. No, I like that. That's good. I think I can kind of call that complete for now. While I think about like how I want to implement that as like let's scroll down and fix this as a boss fight mechanic. Turn repeat off. Thanks. Yeah, I think that's cool. All right. Now, if I want to make it 2 stages, there's still a little bit of work that needs to happen with this. And I do. I kind of want to make it to have the ability to be 2 stages without me having to do the work. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So, this is all the damage down here. But what I can do is prefab piece. So anytime the center totem is created, we're going to spawn second effect. Okay. Let's open the folder or the file that has that data in it, which is this. And let's make a copy of that. And I'll show you why. We're gonna play with scaling here in a minute. And I'll rename these. I like this effect. This is what I do in the player museum for the fire effects. All 4. So we're changing the scale of the undead burn effect from its normal size to it's going to be really skinny and tall. So like a skinny pillar. And then I'm going to leave its height the same, but we'll make it thicker. You'll see what I mean by that. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. Alright, so 3, 3, 3, 3. Show you what's happening here. So this is what that looks like. Oh gosh, okay. Ooh. Quite the effect. Be something that I would have the damage happen on the second stage. So the first stage is a warning to the players that hey, something's about to happen. And then the second stage is the thing that causes the damage to them. This is really dense, right? Like but I'm not gonna customize it to make it less dense. But now I can just copy and paste this over into a wow. That's very green. Kind of a cool look. Oh, how expensive is that? Because I was like 5 of those out there like that. Oh, it's pretty rough. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Unless we were just like standing still for a cool effect. Like a cinematic effect. Maybe a boss is spawning in or something. Then I could justify like hammering everybody's computers that hard. Hmm. Kinda cool. Alright, but not the purpose, right? Alright. So I would just have to go through here and remove the degrees that I don't want. So like if I wanted it to be a frontal arc, I could just remove um everything from like 90 degrees on, and then I would just copy and paste 90 degrees and make it negative, or up to 90 degrees and just make them negative instead of having them be positive, and it would be mirrored on the other side. Um, Instead of having to do all of this work, right? It's the same thing. It's just shorter, right? I went through all 360 degrees versus going negative. Um, which if I were gonna do quadrants, I would probably do it negative, right? Like I would do the right half as positive, and then I would do the left half as negative. Um, just to separate them that way, but there's not much of a reason. So, all right, I guess I should go work on signs. I have kind of not been excited about this. Oh, you guys get to not be. I mean, it's just me and my wife right now, I think. So if anybody's watching, you get to be not excited about this with us if you're joining. Um, let's go to where it. Where did I put the player museum? Did I not mark it? Is that what this is? Yeah, I'll just portal to it. All right. All right. Just make them all visible. Here are all the signs. So I'm having issues with the signs not updating the way that I want them to. And that's why we've got, like, mine doesn't have random numbers, but Sarah's does, right? The mayor's doesn't have random numbers, but Luna's does. Gobi's doesn't have random numbers, but Jarlaxle and Congeal's do. So, like, I'm not really... So I have to come in here and do a little bit of work. Work on Sarah. First things first is we need to do a data dump. Data dump equals what is this? So that I can see what it is. File open data. What is it? I do this a lot apparently. Sign player museum player 2 data 6. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Yeah, that is correct. Sure, you can tell. Troubleshooting. Why? What is it? What is it to? Another what is it? Hello? And then these are just numbers, apparently. I'm almost done. Giant stone stair. That's the only one I want to save. The rest of these can go away. There we go. Alright. Signs. Player museum. Alright. Player name 1. This is correct. Player name 2. So I'm not worried. I don't think I'm worried about the names so much. Do I have a reset button for this too? No, I don't think so. I'll have a reset. No reset in there. No reset in there. So that means they'll have to be done individually. I'm gonna do Sarah 1, 2, 3. We're just gonna check this. So I mean, in theory, Sarah's name should change. Whoops. Yeah, okay. So that worked. Put that back. Alright. So that seems to work just fine. Let's go to museum player data then. Alright. Player data 1. Do I have any other players in here? Or did I not do this? Player 2. Alright. Player 2 data is right here. Here is the title sign. Player 2 data 1. I know, there's a lot. Here's how I have this arranged. This is kind of bonkers, crazy, make like complicated sauce. So I have 9 signs. We have the numbers here. 2 of the signs are dedicated to, well, 3 of the signs are dedicated to player name, but they're, with the exception of, oh, ignore everything I just said. 1 sign is designated for player name, which is Sarah, and I think it's this top one right here. Yep. These, and then the other 8 signs are dedicated to what I call data. So, for example, total deaths will be data, right? And then I'm not really sure what else we'll track, but deaths was like an obvious one. But Sarah does a lot of B-bombs, so maybe we'll track how many B-bombs Sarah makes or does and whatnot. That kind of thing. Like there's so many different data places to track, but for now, I gotta get deaths to work. That's where we're at. So let's firstly make sure that these work. So I'm going to change Sarah's title. I'm going to add numbers. Okay, and then it's just this for all of them. Okay. So that updated just fine. Cool. So this seems to be working. Just the way it should. Why are these numbers here then? Alrighty. Total deaths. Got that. That is accurate. And now this is where it gets a bit jank, because clearly I've typed something here for this right middle sign. Oh, look. There's a random letter here. I wonder if I can get rid of that letter. But I feel like the rest of these things should have updated. Oh. It was really just the random letter. I wonder if it's the same for the rest of them. And if it's just that simple. That would be really lovely. I didn't have to go through and do a ton of work. To make the signs work. Because there's still work that has to be done. Right. Player 3. Does player 3 have a random letter? Player 3 does have the random letter. Let's delete that. Boop, boop. So can I just actually just boop, boop. Can I do data 4A, control F, copy, paste, and then replace all. Yeah, I think I can do that. Let's just do that. And then let's go into the game and see if that works for Waddle. Yes, it did. Okay, I almost gave up on that, so it worked for Waddle. Mare is player 4, but that one's Mare's fine. Gobi's player 5. Gobi's fine. Loon is 6. Yep, that worked. I think Jarlaxle's 7. Yep. Congeal's 8. Is this light turned on over here, or is it gone? Hello? Lighting. I wonder if there's something with the ghost that makes the lighting rig go away. Because, like, these same lights I replaced last week, right? Yeah. These lighting rigs are gone. Again. How weird is that? We fought a ghost here this week, so I can't help but wonder if there's something in that. But in the meantime, I just need to find out what it's called. Here we go. Best lighting rig. Good job, Matt. Is this where it's at? Centered on this? Yeah, I think so. Alright. A weird thing that's happened. Kind of noticed that when we came in, that it was dark. Oh. Keep deleting the wrong thing. Oh, now I've just done stuff, so please. Gosh darn you. I've got... Hang on, let me see if I can move it. How I keep grabbing it from inside if it's not visible to me. This is one of the... I'll just keep fiddling, I guess. Let's just undo. Undo, undo, undo. We'll just undo all that. Ah. Always something. Oh, is it actually missing that one too? No. Missing the corners. Okay. Fine. Aha, I picked it up. You can't even see what I've picked up, but I have picked it up. Oh, and I needed to put it somewhere other than where I'm trying to work. There. Like, you didn't see this line that I picked up right here, right? But that's the weather. It's the event zone. So, all right. Try this again. I should just be able to remove this now. Yeah. The event zone was in my way. Thing over here doesn't look like it. This looks fine. So weird. I think this one too. I think it was just... Alright. Now, it looks like I've got some flickering going on, so I need to come through here. Yeah. So these are all flickering. Yeah. Merge them with the correct data. Just the data. Merge. Tools. Side. ID equals lava lamp. Radius equals... let's do 3. Because I don't want to do them all. I want to be in the middle. Radius equals 4. We did 1. Radius equals 5. We did. Just want to jump up here. Like, how can I not do that? There we go. There. 6. Worked. Alright. That's fine. Fine. It's not flickering, but it looks like there's one inside that. There is. Why is there one inside this? What do I want to keep? One that's above. Okay. Moving on. Player 8. Who is player 8? Conville? Player 9. Or Alexel. And then there is no 10. Okay. Cool. So that all seems to be working. I don't think that's high enough. I could be wrong. Cool. Object. Oops. Wood pole log. Okay. Weak object. Show equals false. Collision equals false. Interact. False. ID equals sign and lava lamp. Radius equals 300. There we go. Now all the signs are hidden and non-interactable. Object scale equals 0.01, 0.01, ID equals lava lantern, radius equals 300, health equals 1e30. Just in case. Would help with the... Yeah, see, I didn't like collide with literally everything there. There's gonna be some collision, but it wasn't as bad as it was when I was there a minute. Alright, I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Grab me a tasty beverage. I'm gonna look a little bit at this sign stuff. Now that I've corrected the lighting again, I also need to figure out why the lighting got removed. So maybe I should do that over working on signs. But yeah, that's what I'll do. So let's dig into the first ghost I think that we had. So I need to open first ghost up, and I think this is the only ghostful file. And there's literally no lava lamp in here. Remove. Let's see. So we're removing wood beams. Yeah, there's nothing in here for to remove what it's doing. I'm gonna have to watch this behavior. That's really weird to me. So I guess that'll just be something that I keep my eye out for. Alrighty. I'm going to work on the death counters now for my founders in the player museum. So here's how this works. Here's me, player 1. Player name Matt. Now, clearly I have died more than 13 times in this game, right? Between both of my characters. Now I don't have a stats for this server for this character's deaths. So, but let's see how many times I've died on just this character. This is my admin character, but it was also my Farmheim character. And it's the one that I bring with me to visit people with and whatnot. Like if we're gonna play, I'll reset my stats down to 0 or whatever. Here's all the stuff that's killed me. I've died 740 times. I've died 740 times to Undead Nex? Is that what this is? Is this deaths or is this like damage? Hang on. No, this has to be damaged. Because like, I haven't died 3,000 times to deer. Okay, this is how many enemies I've seen. Okay. Gotcha. I've only seen 2 chickens. Maybe I've only killed 2 chickens on this character. Here are all the known worlds. Maybe this wasn't my farm. Oh yeah, it was my Farmheim character. I think that's like 5 months. What is that? Is it minutes, hours, days, weeks? 5 weeks? That makes sense. That's you. I haven't spent an entire day on Whale World though, so it's seconds, minutes, hours, days is how that goes. Oh, and that's as much stats. Well, shoot. There's another place where you can get your death stats from. I just don't remember where it is. Whatever, it's besides the point. I'm working on stuff. So anyhow, so we have death counter, and what the death counter does is anytime a player logs in and does anything, I capture their player ID and their player name. And the player ID I think it's like character based, and it's like character server based because I've got like 4 characters. All of them are like named variations of Matt, and they all have different game IDs, and it's this internal game ID that's used. So this is gonna be the wrong number for me. So I'm gonna go back into, this is the game data. This is all the data that the game has saved. These are all the variables that I've made the game make, and then it calls on them. So like when we cook meat, this is a meat that is or this is a variable that's generated. Like this is the coal that's generated. This is some random number. I don't know. Some of this stuff is really old. This is how many times the tower's been destroyed. 37 times. There's currently one player on the server. It's me. Coal bomb is rank 5. Costs 300 coal to go to rank 6. Got Nexilla 16 times. Nexilla has 3000 HP. Etc. etc. Like this is all the data. But we're gonna look for mat. So there's one mat, right? That's a mat. And that's another mat. And then this is the one that we're gonna track. Right here is battle mat. Just make sure that's the only one. Yep. So this is the number that I need to track. And this is the name I need to track. So let's go back to my death counter. And let's look at this again. Player, string, player name. This needs to change to battle mat. And I'm just going to copy it. Paste it. Alright. So what happens is the game is now looking for a player by the name of battle mat. And it's looking for an action. So it's waiting for the character battle mat to die. And then trigger rules is on because that's trigger rules is cool. Trigger rules is true. And then after this player dies, I'm gonna poke a specific sign. And the specific sign is the one that has the death counter number. And when I poke the sign, I'm going to write however many deaths, or we're going to load this variable, and we're just going to write this variable on the sign, and that's it. So we're going to, when I die, we're going to poke this random sign 10,000 meters away. So that's just going to search the entire server. So this is the what, or what are we poking, and then this is the action, what are we doing, and when we poke the sign, we're going to put this variable on it. But I need to change that variable to be the actual one. And in order to do that, I need to go back over here and search for battle mat, but I'm going to search for the number associated with battle mat. Right? So I'm going to control F this. I'm going to get rid of the name. I'm just going to search for the number. And here is my actual death number since I started counting. Is only 39. That's not bad. Let me make sure that's the only one. Yeah. See? So I'm gonna, I don't know why there's a negative in front of it. That's kind of weird, but I think I might need to take that. So we'll come over here and we'll do this. Boop. And now anytime my character, my battler's character dies, it will update the death counter number with its current number. But I can also manually update the data by coming in here and just typing that. Maybe. Oh, wait. This also would need to be over here in this. Oh, and there's an A there. Isn't there? Wonder if that's still not. Alright, hang on, sorry. I like switched over. Okay. Let's do some troubleshooting then. Shall we? I'm gonna try and see if this sign is even being updated. I don't think it is. I'm not getting the impression that anything's happening here, to be honest. Okay. I think this is title, right? The great. No, okay. Yeah, no, it is working. Okay, good. Oh. That's interesting. There does need to be an A here. I think. For mine. This one's not working. Wonder why. This is kind of why I've been dreading working on signs. So equals true. Interact equals true. Because this one's really complicated. I think this is probably the most complicated system that I've built in the game. And it's the one that I have had the least amount of practice with in terms of like updating and whatnot. So like it's really complicated and it's like really new. But it's really complicated and really new, but also I did this like a month and a half ago. Total deaths 13. Data dump equals what? Alright. Well, it doesn't even have a data. No wonder why. It's not working. Well, it's just like manually type. I must have cleared the data on accident. That leads me to wonder if I've done that with more of these. Okay, no. This one has data. And I'm not going to check any more of them. So that means I just need to merge this with the data. And then it'll work. That's not a big deal. I'm glad I didn't like super like break anything while I was trying to fix this. Because that is kind of a bummer when it's like, why isn't this working? And then it's like, you go through like all the super complicated stuff first because like I built a career out of telling people, do the hard stuff first, then do the easy. Because then, you know, you're doing the easy stuff like when you're tired and ready to be done for the day. So like that's how I structure like my doing my work time. And it's almost always like I go through all this super complex stuff and then it's like, oh, it's just like it's literally line 1 has a typo. I had one of those a couple weeks ago. It was like, I think it was like 600 or 700 lines, and I started from the end and worked my way to the top, and there was just a random 0 in the very first line. What was it doing? Okay, data merge, sign, player museum. Oh shoot, I need to just go over here and see what it is. Looking for this. I can't move it else here. Is there an A? Okay, there's no longer an A. Okay. So now I can actually remove the A. Because, like I said, this is really complicated. The A is from troubleshooting I did a while ago. And I knew it was going to cause me a problem. I did it. So when I do the thing, it should update that sign to say that. Look at that. Did the thing. And it did the thing. So. Good. That means that I can do the thing that I was actually doing. Which is, we want it to load this variable. Come in here now and do this. Just load the total number of deaths. Now I know that number's not right. But I'll work on getting an accurate number later. Let's look at Sarah. Alright. Total deaths for Sarah. So she's player 2. Get down to player 2 data. I think to get here efficiently, I'll just search for right, middle, or I can look for deaths in here. From here. So from here, I'm just going to grab her number, right? So I'm going to look for Sarah. This is her character name. Sarah. So, oh, I'm on player 4 now. Okay, alright. So now, we actually have to do the counting. So let's add the death counter. So player 2. And then we'll get her name. Sarah. Alright. And now, I need to get her actual death counter variable. And there's that. Now I should be able to just do this in the game. And hold on, I'll make sure both of these signs is working. Signs is working. Dang it. Just realized that I wasn't done with this. There. Alright. Back to work. So this didn't work. And I know why. Because I need to also change this. See how this says it's poking the same. That's why that's why the number changed too. I was like, well, that's not the right number. So it's actually just poking the wrong sign. I need to update this so it's player 2, player 2, player 2. And now that should work. That should make more sense. So make sure mine is updated again. Both the numbers are updated, and then we'll do Sarah's. And now it still hasn't done it. That's okay. The reason why it hasn't done it is because I actually need to come over here. And add it to there. So I'm going to have to do this 10 times. Why, you see why I've kind of dreaded this? But there we go. Sarah's died 28 times. Since I started counting, right? I'm gonna have to go through and update these with our actual deaths, which I have in Discord, I think, right? Well, no, I have the deaths that I asked for, so then I can just add that to this in Discord. So, as you can see, it's updated right there. I haven't showed it. Mare's fine. In fact, I think Mare's is completely updated with Mare's. So let's do Waddle. Waddle. Let's start with getting here. So let's search for death. Total deaths. Player 3. Player 3 data 4. Okay, so I've got that set in the right place. Now we're going to come over here. And we're going to make a field for Waddle. Or an action for Waddle. So there's player 3. Let's update all of the things first. There we go. See, now that's cooking with brain juice. Player 3. Now I need to get Waddle's name. There's a problem though, because Waddle has multiple characters. Waddle, you have multiple characters. Which one is Waddle's most current one, I wonder? I can look here. I think this is the one that's most current. So, but we'll add them all together. So hang on. Let's look here. Jovi, Jill, Sarah, Waddle, Battler. Okay. So that one is the most. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the death counter and tell it to watch for that player's name. So whenever that player dies, we're going to update this thing here with this name. Oh, it's right here. Okay, it's just right underneath. Death counter. Boom. Right. Now I also need to add that to this. Boom. Alright. And now, in theory, I should have gotten that first try. So, this is how I play the game. If I get a thing first try that's taken me multiple tries to do, then I've beaten that boss. But the boss can always come back. Player 3 data. Is Waddle player 3? The 3. Yeah. Look at that. Take a drink. The laboratory drink. And I'm back. So that worked just fine. Mare's good. Mare's good. Luna is the next one, so let's do that one. And we'll do the same thing that we did. So we'll go in here. We're looking for player. See, this was the problem with doing it by player. Mare's 4, Luna's is 6. So let's look for player 6. Player 6 data. Total deaths. Alright, so that's where that will go. Let's add a field for player 6. Typo in there for Gobi. Alright. Player 6. Now I need to know. Oh, look, there's her name right there. That was easy. Now we'll change this so that it is player 6, and player 6. And then we'll select this. Go back. Highlight this. Search for that. Copy this. Go back. Paste this. Then we'll copy this. Then we'll go to this one. We'll paste that. And then we're done. Let's go back to the game. And let's test it. Player 6 has 23 deaths. Wasn't that fun? Felt nice to get done. Alright. Kongville. Kongville actually managed to get captured in the system here. So let's get in there. What I mean by that is I have his data. Alright. So Kongville is going to end up being player what? 8? Go down to player 8. Total deaths for player 8. Put the cursor, or put the cursor there. Then we need to make a new field. Who's 7? Hang on. Okay, I'm having like a brain fart now. Having a brain fart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Charles Axel is next. There's 7. I don't have Charles Axel. So we actually don't get to make player 7. Make player 8. I think Kongville is actually KNV. No. I think he just used my name, right? Maybe I didn't get him in here. No, I have him. What does he call it? What did he call his character? No, it was here. Yeah, that's why. That's why I couldn't think of it. KNG. Uh-oh. Do I not have that? I wonder if there's one that doesn't have a name because of the dash. Hang on. I think there was one. No. I guess I don't have Kongville. I don't know how I don't. Hmm. Oh, I'll have to get him. So that's probably it then, because there's nobody else after Kung Vio. Oh, cool. That wasn't too bad then. I guess I'm done with that. So, tweak object show equals false, interact is false, and I'll just do ID equals sign, radius equals 200. Just hide them all, and then let's do tweak. Let's do object scale equals 0.01 comma 0.011, ID equals lava lamp, radius equals whatever, doesn't matter. I want to make sure the health is infinite. And then tweak object show signs too, they interact. I don't know. ID equals lava lamp, radius equals 300. And now, are these interactable? I think I already did turn interact off. Cool. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to log out. And I'll pop over to, hang on. I want to get the number of deaths that this character has, but I don't remember how everyone did it, but do that. And then I'm also going to get Discord rolling so that I can see the number of deaths that everybody else had, so that I can add them to the data, and then we'll update all the signs to be the proper number, or at least to include what I've got data wise. All right. I thought there was a stats button or something. Did I have to have a mod for it? Oh, weird. Like I was pretty sure there was like an actual honest to goodness, like I clicked it and it showed me how many, whatever. It doesn't, it's not a big deal. Okay, there we go. I have like the complete. This character has died 284 times. Total. Has jumped 1,115 times. I've cheated 1,569 times. It's because I'm the server when I'm playing. Sometimes it counts like things being spawned in the background as cheating. I have not hit or taken a hit from another player. These are kind of cool stats. That's cool. Alright, anyhow. Number of deaths. 284 since the beginning. So, log out. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing? What do you got going on? You guys had quite the stream today. That was a lot of stuff going on in there. That was really cool. That was really neat. Alright. I'm looking for me. Now I have to look for this number. And I've forgotten how many deaths I had, but I can just go back in my stream. Hang on. Can't I? $284. 284. What I had, so 323 deaths is how many deaths I've had total. Sarah says she's doing okay. Oh, that's good. Playing Power Wash Simulator, nice. Nice. Yeah. That is some insane builds. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That was some definite work. I've seen snapshots, snippets and bits and pieces of that as it's been being done. It's kind of cool getting to see like a lot of stuff that I recognize bits and pieces from. And being like, oh yeah, no, like I remember when somebody was asking about how to get something to work that way, or they were showing off their build or whatever. Okay. I'm over in the Discord scrolling through looking at death stats. So Luna died 45 times by then. So let's just do her. Loon E. Copy that. Or we'll search for that right there. Then we'll add 45 to that. Can't see the number anymore. 68. Alright. Next is probably Gobi, because I think he said he died 46 times. Sarah says she says, I got to be one of the actors in his movie, but so much fun to be in and just gawk at all the incredible stuff he built. Yeah, it really looks a lot like it. That's fun. That's fun. It did seem like you were pretty familiar with everything. Like you were specifically more familiar with a lot of the stuff that was going on than what I felt like the other peeps that were there. That makes sense. Gobi is right underneath himself. And I've already done this math. I'm pretty sure I've already done this math. So I'm not going to add another 49 because there's no way Gobi's died that many times. No. Moving on. Sarah, 182. That's funny. $10 total. There says, yeah, spent many hours in there where the others haven't. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm at 323. That's me. Bottle is 115. Waddle's only got 134 deaths. That can't be right. Hold on, she's also got the other character too. So let me find. Which one did I add to? Hang on. Did I add to this one? Yeah. Okay. Well, I did the 2-word name. Wait, what? I don't know. I think it's this one. Hang on. Which one am I counting? Go up here. I guess if her number doesn't change, then I know that I've got the wrong name. Waddle Battlers is the one that I'm actually counting. So it's this one that I need to add. The number 2. So let me find the other one. Because at this point I've forgotten how much it was. $134 plus 5, so she's still only died 139 times. Of course, like you said, Sarah hasn't missed a single one. 182, 115. Is that everybody, I think? Kong Fuel had 59, but I don't have his data to update. Sign with. Mare is done. Well, no, Mare is 125. Yeah, okay. So everybody's done. Cool. Alright, so that should let me just go into the game now. And now I should just be able to update the signs. In theory. Alright, so let's do... What's it looking for? Looking for this. I can see. Yep. Matt died 323 times. Sarah. 210. Waddle. 139. Mares is not right. There we go. Mares is right now. Gobi. Might actually just be 83. Yeah. Luna. Go. I don't have Jarlaxle. And I don't have Kongville. So. I have been dreading working on that for a while now. So here's how we test. We have to make a sacrifice here. Let's go over here. 323 is how many deaths I've got. Let's go test it now. We'll just test and make sure that the death counter actually works the way it's supposed to. Hang on, be right back. Let's see. Player museum. Of course, you know what's going to happen is a ghost is going to spawn. Even though it's like a It's less than a percentage chance. I don't think it's less than a percentage. It might be more than that. But like we die a lot. So it wouldn't make sense for it to be a high percentage. Oops. Okay. I guess I'm sleeping. Alright. Oh, it's kind of a bummer to die. I have food. Alright. Doodly doodly doo doo doo. Guess I didn't need to actually stand in front of it, but I think the number changed. I actually was not paying attention. We'll do that one more time. Try that again. Alright. One more time. Does the death counter work? We're 324. I'm gonna hit it. And it should go. I'm gonna change my camera angle so I'm a little higher. There we go. 324 and 325. Seems to be working. So, in theory, now whenever one of my founders dies, their death counter should increase, and it should be generally pretty accurate. So, hooray! I accomplished the thing that I really didn't want to do. So, I think that may actually be a good place. How long has it been? It really hasn't been that long. It's only been an hour and 40 minutes. Trying to think if there were any other like little bits and bobs that I wanted to fix. But yeah, no, this was the signs in here were the most, I think probably the most complicated system that I've made for this. Because I can, here's the thing, check this out. I don't know if you're still there or not. If not, then I don't know. Anybody that's catching up in the VOD might catch this. Otherwise, this is just for posterity's sake. But check this out. Free fly. So there's something to notice about all of these signs, right? Like if I scroll through, like these are the signs. These are the places for us to put our gear when we're done with it, right? So when I replace my scrap gear, I'm gonna put my scrap chest and legs here, right? Because I'll put on my leather. Anyhow, so what I'm talking about with the signs is if you go through and look below, facing the wrong way. But if I go through and look at each one of these, right? Like they're all, I know I'm going like super fast now. They're all the same. Right? Every single one of these is the same. And I did not go through and like individually make each one of these signs. So if I want to rename them, all I have to do is update the data for the signs, and then the game will update it. I know that was like really poorly said, and really long and convoluted, but like each one of these is an individual data element that I can manipulate individually. So like I said, the sign system in here, each one of the signs is, or each one of the boards is 9 signs. Each player gets 18 signs, and each one of those 18 signs has its own variable and its own data. And then in order to update those signs, each sign has its own like ability to be updated independent from everything else. So my goal is to add more titles eventually to the game, so that like you're not just running around with Farmheim titles anymore. I was thinking about like I mentioned this earlier, but what would a good title for Sarah be? Because like Sarah does a lot of stuff with the bee bombs, or like I already have one for Mare. Um, I already have one for Mare. Mare has spent a lot of gold upgrading our just our stuff, right? He's upgraded our storage. He's spent a lot of gold upgrading like our bees and whatnot. He's been very conscious about like upgrading our skills and taking care of that kind of stuff. So like I think that's pretty strategic. So like I'm thinking like the strategist is a title that you can earn after spending like 10,000 gold or something like that. And the titles will show up here, but another system that I'm thinking about designing is one that allows the title to show up above a player's head whenever they're doing a specific action. It's not going to be easy, and it'll be jank. Right? Like there's really just no two ways about it. I can do it in a couple different. There's two ways that I can do it. I can use the damage text system, which is the same system that I've used for doing the countdowns for the coal bomb, right? So that's that white text that shows up above the coal bomb as it's counting down. That's the same system that the game uses for damage text. So whenever a player or a monster takes damage, I'm just using that. I can use that to make a title appear above a player's head. The only problem is that text only appears for like a second. So it'd be kind of jank looking. And then the other one that I can do is I can do like floating signs, much like how I've got here. Is just like have a sign with a text appear above their head. Which is a thing that I can do. But that'll also be kind of jank. But I'm not like super concerned about those things just yet. I gotta get this stuff to completely work. Because the next step is whenever a player puts their armor on here, like when you do put your level 4 leather helm, chest, and legs and cloak on here, I want you to get rewarded for it. Like I want there to be a reason to visit here, not just because of the ghosts and not just because of whatever, but I want you to come here and drop off your gear, the cool stuff, and have the memories of like, oh yeah, I had this weapon that's hanging from here, and etc., etc. You know, I want it to like mean something. Because again, like Sarah said, like we have spent many hours, and like I don't want to just throw our stuff away. So yeah, here's the cloak that we unlocked by defeating Frank over the weekend. So Sarah and I think Sarah Mare both have this cloak. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to accomplish. Oh, this is my battler's character. Oh, because I died. Okay, yeah, so I would have to leave anyways before I do any work. But I think that's generally what I've accomplished. Waddle has a green one. Yeah, Waddle has a green one. So the green and red cloaks were like purely cosmetic holiday loot. I've got holiday things here. I guess they're not really cosmetic, are they? Because they're rank 3, aren't they? Yeah, they're rank 3. Aren't they? What color do I have? Wait, how do I have this? Oh, I must have made one. Remove that. Yeah, it's rank 3. Okay, cool. Grumble. But yeah, when I retire that cloak, it's gonna go here. I'm missing some lighting in here, which I'll have to do. Let's fix that. I'll log out. I think something's going on with a ghost, that whenever the ghost gets eliminated, it like deletes some of the lighting. Because I had to replace the lights again. Same ones that I did last week. Why am I here? Oh, right. Because there's just some lights missing. Okay. Hammer. Blueprint. And I want closet. Lighting grid closet. I think it's just... One, two. One, two. Yeah, alright. Well, I better, like... Now I don't remember. Undo. Undo. The left one. And the right one. Alright. That's missing. So weird. Good. That one's good. It's just that one down there. Alright, let me make sure that these are merged properly. So, data merge equals closet. Sure which one it is, so we have to go through these. Okay. Close the... Data for the player museum. There we go. Player museum, lava lantern, hallway, hallway sides. What? Maybe it's just lantern then. The distance on this. Light distance is 10. Yeah, it's just lantern. Okay. Merge. Radius equals 3. Oh, ID equals lava lantern. That way. Yeah, that's better. Cool. Well, that's so much brighter. Alright. Okay, we're good down here. We're good here. Just these in here. Okay. And these here. Okay. And wood pole log, wood wall log. Object move ID equals wood pole log, wood wall log. Radius equals 300 just to make sure we got rid of them all. And then object ID equals lava lantern. Radius equals 300. Health 2030. Just to be sure that they don't break. And then I'm gonna save, and then I think I'm gonna back this up, but like it won't matter because I don't want to lose our data, and I'm not gonna like lose any inventory and stuff. But if I have to keep remaking the lights in this one spot, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I will have to do some research, I guess. Alright, so that's fixed, I think I've accomplished that. I really don't feel like doing any more effect work. Like that, doing effects and making boss fights and doing that kind of stuff, it's that's the hard part of like doing the things. To me it's just as difficult to do like that as it is to like make a really creative building or do like creative editing or something like that. Like it's just making a boss fight. So I'm not feeling it right now. Sometimes I just like do that in bed, my laptop, just like, oh yeah, that sounds like it'd be a good idea. Yeah, that sounds great. Like, why not have the monster jump down and squish people? Actually, I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I think that'd be fun. Ooh, let's troubleshoot this. So I closed Notepad+. Let me see, I thought it was rank 20 that we got our next barrel for storage. So if power upgrades, here we go, storage, honey chest, there we go. So keys, Meadows Tower, Meadows Tower storage barrel rank 14. So yeah, no, we should have gotten it at rank 20. Because this is what this is. So the game's waiting for coins. Oh, that's why. That's why it didn't work. Because I messed that up. It's waiting for a stack of 999 coins. 999 coins. I just fixed this. So this is how this works. Our storage is upgradable in this game. Right now, our storage is rank 20. Tower storage rank 20. So the way it works is players get gold. We've got a decent amount of gold right now. So a full stack of gold. You take a full stack of gold and you chuck it here, and it upgrades the storage. So we're rank 20 right now. So if I threw another stack of gold at it, we'd be rank 21. Here, I created a system where at rank 14, if a player upgrades the storage, when the storage barrel is rank 14, it will spawn in this. It spawned this barrel in. Right? So the system is designed so that when we hit rank 20, it's supposed to spawn in another barrel. But it didn't. Because I had the wrong price up here. So I fixed that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to spawn one in manually. Because we earned it. It just didn't spawn. I may have to rework that system because it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But, sorry, I was reading through it again. But, in theory, now whenever honey gets created next to this barrel, it should just get sucked into the barrel. And that'll help me and my server while it's running. So let's chuck 10 honey at the ground. And it takes some time. It's between like 0 and 30 seconds, I want to say, because I wanted it to feel like organic. I didn't want like a pile of honey to just all vanish at the same time. Because that's kind of immersion breaking, and I'm not like super like worried about immersion. I'm not a Disney executive, right? But anyhow, I threw 10 honey at the ground. Now there's 10 honey in the barrel. I can throw 50 honey at the ground, but that'll split it into that'll make a honey bomb. So there's 25 honey at the ground. There's another 25 honey at the ground. Oh, it just actually spawned honey. So this is the 5-minute mark. Every 5 minutes, the big flower spawns 1 honey. And we've upgraded it 9 times. So now it spawns 9 honey every 5 minutes. And we have 4 of these. So every 4 minutes we get 9 honey. And you saw, like, the honey just kind of vanished slowly over time, right? And now it's in here. So, and we don't have a barrel over at this one. So no barrel here, and there's honey still on the ground. No barrel here, and there's honey still on the ground. So, that'll help a lot. I'm not super stoked on having to have this extra barrel here, to be honest. I hope that whatever weird nonsense that made it so that we had to have that barrel, there is done. And Sarah's, don't look, I'm just like randomly, willy-nilly depositing stuff. She may have been alt-tabbed and wouldn't have known unless I hadn't said anything though. So yeah, we won't look at the storage. It's not that bad, but I did just kind of willy-nilly deposit stuff. Bees, mostly, and honey. Okay, that's fixed. Alright, I think, what else? What else little stuff is there that I can do? That I can fix? So in theory, the next time we get our next honey barrel will be when our storage barrel is ranked 24, and we'll get our next honey barrel. But I don't understand what I've done here. What is this? Okay, hang on. I need to look at this again. Okay, so every time we throw money, every time this gets triggered, it spawns a totem. Okay. And every time the totem is created... Oh, okay. Here's how this works. Let me find it. I'm like, what is going on here? So, wish there was a better way. Alright, here it is. So the way this works is rank 2. Let's go to rank 3. So rank 3 is going to be the next one that that gets triggered in the game. So the game is currently waiting for all of this stuff to happen. When it gets triggered, it's going to spawn in a totem, so a Jacko turnip, with this data, honey barrel rank 3 totem. So it's spawning in a totem. That data, honey barrel rank 3 totem, boop, has position information attached to it. So let's go to it. I'll show you. So I'll just go to that position. Go to... Alright. So when we unlock the rank 3 honey barrel, it will spawn a totem right here. Okay? And then the game is waiting for that totem to get spawned. So when this Jacko turnip gets spawned with this data, honey barrel rank 3 totem, it will spawn in a barrel with Meadows Tower Storage Honey Storage. Meadows Tower Storage Honey Storage data attached to it. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to have 4 individual barrels that I had to then create data. Look, this keeps going. Here's how this works. So, I didn't want to have to make this multiple times, if that makes sense. So, anytime honey gets created near one of those Meadows Tower Storage Honey Storage barrels within 10 yards, 10 meters, it will poke that honey and remove it, and then it'll put honey in the barrel, right? I did not want to have to make this 4 individual times. So that's why whenever we upgrade it, it spawns a totem that then spawns in a barrel. Done. Managed. That's right. And I made this system like in bed after surgery. And that's not even the most complicated system that I made. But then from the player perspective, it's pretty cool, right? Like, the flower makes the honey. The barrel picks up the honey. The player pulls the honey out of the thing and goes, oh my gosh, I need bees. And then comes over here and goes, okay, I'm going to chuck bees at the thing. And then you get bees from the thing. You know, there's a lot of stuff. I feel pretty confident in this being a pretty cool game. Even after having felt slightly intimidated by the Star Wars stuff that I saw today. But it's okay. That, you know, it is what it is. So, I feel pretty comfortable and calling it a stream. I fixed the honey barrel. I fixed the lighting at the player museum again. I fixed the signs that I've been dreading fixing for ages. Ever since I showed my players the player museum for the first time, I've been dreading fixing those signs. So that's done. And we played a little bit more with this. Now it's, you know, a dreadful mess, but it's multiple circles. And it looks cool the way it is now. I won't use it like that. That's like unusable because of how dense it is. But it's 3 circles. 1, 2, it's 4 circles, so I can count. that I can now just copy paste as a template for damage and boss skills and stuff. So that is, I think, where I am at. So take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself and everyone, everything around you. I will tell you that the Senate did just vote to remove protections from the boundary waters. I think it's like 225,000 acres of some of the most pristine waters in the United States have now just been authorized for sale to a company from Chile, that mines sulfites and copper. So some of the most toxic things on the planet have now been authorized to be mined in some of the most pristine waters in the United States that we have. And that those minerals, that company sells direct to China. Ships exports direct to China. So American citizens probably won't be even seeing a benefit from the revenue in terms of like export revenue and revenue generated by taxes off of the business as it does business. So there's a good chance that we won't even see any benefit from that, which as I continue to talk about this towards the end of my stream, the thing that I just said is consistent across the board with these deals that we're making with these companies, where we strip protections from what was public land, and then we sell that public land to a business entity, whether it's a foreign entity or a non-foreign, right, a domestic entity. We still do the thing. We still sell the thing. The business still does whatever they're doing there, and they generate revenue, but we give them tax breaks to generate the revenue, and they get out of it that way. I think there were 88 major corporations that paid $0 on, I think it was something like $150 billion in revenue. They paid $0 in taxes on that. So we can talk about that more, but it's been a little over 2 hours. So those are things that we should be talking to our leadership about, our representatives about, our corporations, corporate entities, Patagonia, REI. Think about like the outdoors companies where, like, yes, sure, fine, they don't give two craps about the environment. Maybe they do, like Patagonia or whatever that looks like. I'm not. They're corporations. At the end of the day, they care about their profit. And if they're selling less outdoorsy stuff, like canoe stuff, to the boundary waters that just got authorized to sell, like those are big canoeing places. They're huge tourist destinations for people to go canoeing. That's a hit in revenue, and that revenue is actually meaningful, right? As opposed to like the meaningless revenue that these new businesses are going to be generating for themselves, because A, we're not going to be taxing those businesses, and B, they're not going to be paying the people that work there any meaningful wage, right? So we're not going to be generating any revenue from the people that work there. The people that work there are just going to be making what's necessary to survive off of. Or they're in a tax bracket that puts them outside of whatever. We can go into that later. I don't care. But what we're saying is that's meaningless revenue. At the end of the day, it's not helping anybody. It's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything while it's negatively impacting the environment. Versus like revenue that we would be generating, like income tax, but we've got regressive, right? That's so regressive in terms of where that's coming from. So there's a lot. And these are the things that we should be talking to, screaming from the rooftops as it gets sold out from underneath us. There's a lot of land in my state currently up for sale. It's out in the middle of nowhere. That's not usually visited by people. but there's currently there's currently hundreds of thousands of acres. I don't remember. I think it's like 300,000 acres of ranch land that's currently being sold. It's being sold as ranches, but it was previously it was public land. So now they're selling all of this stuff that's out in the middle of nowhere, for pennies on the dollar, right? And I mean, there's 40-acre ranches that are being sold for $39,000, and it's flat land, right? It's not awful, terrible land. It's not in the mountains. It's not like, it's just in the middle of nowhere. Oh, it's 2 hours away from the nearest city, plus whatever commute it is to get from point A to point B on the land. But my point is, a goodly portion of the land that's currently being sold was public land, and it's being sold to private investors. And this is a big problem in the north part of my state. The northern part of my state, what they've done is they've checkerboarded a lot of the land so that ranchers can't cross over with their cattle, right? So time of day 0.5. So what they've done is they've checkerboarded the land. So these empty spots here are let's make this even more. All right. So the stone spots are public land, right? The stone spots are public land, but private buyers have purchased the wood spots, and they've made it legally difficult and financially difficult to do corner crossing with cattle and stuff. So right, like okay, fine, don't do your cattle farming on public land, but come on. Like, we're talking millions of acres of land out here, and some of these ranchers receive tax benefits. They receive tax subsidies. Like, I think that if we as taxpayers are paying these ranchers in terms of subsidizing their product, then I'm okay with them using taxpayer money to feed that product. What I'm not okay with is billionaires or millionaires purchasing up these things and then keeping those ranchers from being able to cross those boundaries, and then our costs as consumers increase across the board. We've got legal fees that are being added to our costs. We've got the basic the opportunity costs that are involved with the land, with the fact that there's also water restrictions that come with that as well. So we've also got water battles that are going on. There's a lot. These are some of the things. Like, I get it, right? I get it. Our president posts pictures of himself dressed as Jesus, doing things that he shouldn't. That's clearly blasphemy. That's clearly, like, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a religious person. I'm in any way, shape, or form. I can look at that and go, I was raised Christian. I was raised Catholic, and then converted to Southern Baptist, which I get are like dramatically different. But like, I can recognize as someone that's wrong. It's wrong. But also, like, we're literally boiling our planet, and we're making decisions that are killing us. These are the things that we should be paying attention to, as well as the clear degradation of society and social norms. So, anyhow, that was a long soapbox. That was a good 20 minutes of me talking about something that I'm generally pretty passionate about. I'm pretty passionate about the environment, right? We live here, right? Like, and it really torques me off to see my environment get wrecked. Like, if I had kids, I don't. Like, what kind of legacy would I be leaving for them if I wasn't at least, like, vocal about this? So, send messages to those corporations that you know they care about the outdoorsy stuff, and be like, hey, I noticed that maybe you donate to politicians, and if some of these corporations are donating to the politicians that are making these decisions, right? And these are decisions that are being made. these aren't things that are happening. This isn't just something that like jumped out of a cake at us either, right? Like, these are things that they said, we're going to do this, and then they gave the public 1 week to respond, right? So, anyhow, I'm grumpy. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourself. Be kind. That's what I mean. Be kind to yourself and everybody, everything around you. And we'll see you in another stream. Bye, everybody.